beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about speaking up. Speaking up for you first, right? And what does that mean? It means saying what you want to say when you want to say it. Because how many of you out there have had this situation? I'm going to guess everybody. At some point in your life, you've had the situation when you decided, or you're having a conversation with someone, and what happened? They said something, you were expecting something else, and you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything, even though it was part of what you were expecting, part of what you thought was going to happen, part of maybe even what was promised to you. And here you are, keeping your mouth closed. What is that? Where does it come from? Why do we do this? A lot of times we do this because we've learned since childhood to respect, and I'm going to put that in quotes, quote unquote, respect the elderly, respect people who are older than you, like your parents or your teachers, respect anyone who's in authority, and don't question things. And so this is at least the way that I was brought up. Maybe you haven't, but a lot of people, especially in my generation, were brought up in this way, to respect people. You don't speak up, you don't talk back, you don't say what you want to say, even if it's not resonating with you, even if it doesn't make sense to you. You keep it to yourself, right? And it's a form of respect. So if somebody tells you to do something and you're a child, you just do it. You don't talk back, or you don't question it, because that's considered being rude, disrespectful, and all of the other things, right? And so when we are programmed this way since a young age, we end up becoming adults who do this as well, especially women. And the older you are, the more you're going to resonate with this, because you're going to resonate with even not speaking up to your husband. I mean, I am not that old, but like in the 1950s, women were taught to be the good girl wife, right? The one who provides and does everything for the husband, takes care of everything while the husband is out there working, right? I mean, this is like the way it was. And it has taken a really long time for women to be like, that doesn't work anymore, right? And to understand that it doesn't work, and for men to begin to see it that way. But there's still so much out there. And whenever women go into some type of situation where they don't resonate, or they don't like what's happening, they don't say anything. I'm not just talking about women, but a lot of women, or mostly women. And I'm also not saying that it's happening for everyone, because we have had a huge wave of awakening the feminine and speaking our minds and showing what it's like to be equal, right? And I'm not going into the women's equality thing, although it seems that way right now. But it's all about being equal with everyone and everything, without having that separation that because this person is older than me, they are wiser. I mean, they probably are wiser in some things, but not in everything, right? Because every generation comes up with their own new awareness that they bring up, that they can also help enlighten the ones who are older, right? I'm going in all different directions. Please guide me in this so I can be a little bit more direct and clear. Thank you, angels. Thank you, angels. Bringing down Archangel Gabriel to help me with my message here today. Thank you. So it's all about being able to speak your mind and say the things that you were taught were not able or supposed to say. This can go for anyone, right? So what happens is, when we come into a situation when somebody says, no, it's not this way anymore, and you are out of fear, let's say, is your boss, fear out of getting reprimanded or losing your job or getting written up or whichever it is the system that your business works in, you don't say anything. You don't say anything because you don't want people to retaliate against you. This actually, something like this happened at my son's school. Um, my son mentioned something about a teacher, and I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Do I tell the, it wasn't directed to him, it was just something that he observed. Do I tell somebody like the principal about this? But I don't want my child to be scrutinized because his mother spoke up. This actually happened to me, guys. This was an actual thing and an actual thought and an actual experience that happened, right? We still have these fears of if you speak up, then something's going to happen, right? And it's not going to be good. But the reason that we're talking about speaking up, I'm not speaking about the fact of why you should, because you should, but it's more about what happens when you don't. When we don't speak up, you will feel a physical lump either in your throat, your belly, your heart. Somewhere in your body, you're going to feel this like lump, and it's a heavy lump. Almost like when you're trying to stop yourself from crying. Stopping yourself from, it's like almost the same thing. You're stopping yourself from crying and you feel a big lump in your throat, right? It's like everything's getting there, and that's because you're preventing the energy from coming out of your body. This is the same thing. You don't want to say something, and you're going to feel that same type of lump differently, of course, because the emotion might not be as strong as when you're wanting to cry or scream. But it's the same type of thing. It's this lump, and it's that physical feeling that your body feels when you repress an emotion and you're not allowing it to be expressed through you, through your voice, through who you are. And that goes into your body and gets saved somewhere. And that is what later on begins to form all types of dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, you're not at ease. That turns into a disease later on. So you can have pain, you can have discomfort, you can have um, some type of ailment that requires more medical attention. And all of this happens because of these energies that we put in. I mean, imagine if it's one thing, one time, somebody says something and you want to say something back, but you stop yourself out of fear, of what's going to happen if you do speak out, right? And you feel this physical sense in your body as you are repressing the energy from being expressed. That's just one thing, one time. And if you can feel it, then once it gets stored in your body, you're like, okay, you forget about it. Nothing's there, right? You forget about it. But just imagine the amount of energy that had, that you are now storing within your body. And is creating all types of discomfort within your body, even if you are not aware of it or do not want to connect it or admit it. It's happening. It's happening. And so I want to talk to you about speaking out today. Speaking out, speaking your truth with ease, with compassion, with a sense of a different opinion, a different point of view. And just to ask, because what is the worst thing that can happen if you ask something that you're afraid to ask for whatever reason? The worst thing that can happen is they can say no. Or it can be a negative answer, right? Of not getting what you wanted to get. But then you have released that energy that was within you, that you were about to store in your body. You will be feeling more true to yourself. And then the next time you are in a situation, what's going to happen is your body is going to remember that urge to hold back the energy, meaning not speaking. But it is also going to remember that you actually did speak, did ask the question, did let that release to come out. And then you're going to remember both, and then it's going to be easier because you have that remembrance to speak out the second time. And then the third time is going to be even easier, and it's going to just get easier and easier. The more practice that you have doing this, the more that you actually put it into practice, so that you begin to notice what it feels like to say it, to release, to say what you want to say. And then you're also going to see that it's not so bad, right? The answers that you're getting may or may not have a big impact. They're going to be like, oh, that it was like the thought of asking was actually so much bigger in my head than what actually happened when I spoke. And you're going to begin to realize this, that their consequences were bigger in your head when you had that fear attached to it. And that's what paralyzed you and prevented you from saying it. And so now that you begin to express yourself, say the things you want to say when you want to say them without the fear of what's going to happen, you are going to begin to shift the way that you do things, to shift the way that you feel about yourself. That this is really putting yourself first, right? You're putting your needs first of wanting to express yourself because there's something that's not in accordance to what you're feeling, right? So you're allowing these expressions to move through you, and you're going to begin to remember it more and become more and more easy for you to express yourself. You're going to be a completely different person just by doing this one thing, is speaking your mind, saying what you want to say. Now, I'm not talking about going out somewhere and just starting a controversy just because you have a different opinion. I'm talking about when something happens to you or in front of you, something that you were expecting to happen. Like, let's say you have a housekeeper, somebody that you pay to clean your home, and then you see something that wasn't picked up under a piece of furniture. And you're like, oh, and you think, oh, well, how well did this person clean if that's still there, right? Like they didn't see it, so that means they didn't really get to clean there. And what else is not there, right? And so you start thinking of these things instead of asking, hey, you missed this, or did you see this, or can you pick this up, right? And then everything is cleared up and everyone is on the same page. But then you feel this. Now you're expecting your home to be clean. You're paying this person to do it. The person missed it for whatever reason. And when you hold back for whatever reason, you might be feeling not good enough or not wanting to have a controversy or any type of discomfort in your home, then you hold back, then what happens? Then you begin to doubt more, feel less satisfied for the services that you provide that are being provided to you, that you are paying for, and you begin to have a different engagement with that person, right? Same thing as like if you go out to eat and the server does something that you don't like. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to be mean, but if you order something and it's not the right way, you want it to be fixed, right? You want it to be rectified. You want to express how you're feeling. Hey, this is not what I ordered, or this is not exactly what I wanted, or there's something wrong with this, whatever it is, right? You feel a lot of times when you're paying for something like food at a restaurant, we feel more at ease to to say things. But when it's this something at home, right, like especially with family members or friends, we don't want to bring at some type of conflict or some type of like making them feel bad. And we do this, we hold on to the feelings and the things we want to say at the expense of us not feeling good. The conflict is still there, we're not speaking about it. So the conflict is within us now. So now we have that big conflict within us, within our body, hidden somewhere, and that begins to cause problems in our health. So this is my tip for today. Speak up. Speak up. Don't be afraid of what might happen, because I can assure you that what will happen is that you will begin to trust in yourself more, put yourself first, begin to feel lighter and better, and people will respond to you in a whole different way when you stand up for yourself by speaking what it is that you want to say. I hope this helped. I hope this made sense. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. That was much better delivery from me at the end of this. And I will see you next time. Okay, bye bye.